Welcome to the Women Empowerment Podcast. We are firm believers that we rise by lifting others. Podcast is a platform for women to share their personal stories and experiences, trials and triumphs, to have their voices heard, to promote, inspire, and motivate other women. We want to share the journey of women leaders and entrepreneurs from all industries and sectors who've made an outstanding impact in our society and empower others to do the same.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Women Empowerment Podcast. I am your host, Courtney Gideon, and it is my absolute pleasure to be here today with jewelry designer and nominee for the Women Empowerment Award, Anita Bhandari. Anita, welcome.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
So let's jump into it because there's so much to cover and not that much time. And so what I always ask people in the beginning, I feel like where we grew up really, and how we grew up really shapes who we are. So do you agree with that? And if so, can you tell me a little bit about your upbringing?
Absolutely. Our past is always a great indication of who we are. I grew up in a city called Antwerp, which is in Belgium. My family was in the diamond business, and that was the diamond capital of the world. So I was surrounded from a very young age with diamonds and a lot of chocolate.
Oh, that sounds really hard. Wow, that's amazing. That's so amazing. So what was that like for you, like living, and how long did you live there for?
I lived there for essentially half my life. So I was raised in a very dynamic family where they were all progressive, business-minded people, and everybody was working in the diamond business. We had various offices throughout the world, and at home, throughout dinner, they would be talking about what they did during the day, which was diamonds. When we went out to parties, they would be talking about diamonds. So I grew up in an environment which made me very comfortable and accepted diamonds as being part of our lifestyle.
Amazing. It sounds like a really rich and fulfilling upbringing for you.
Absolutely. I mean, we just thought this was the way of life. We didn't see outside of the bubble, so to speak, and we just made this part of our lifestyle.
Wonderful. Is it a big family?
You can say that. Yes,
Oh,
we are quite big. Yes.
wonderful, wonderful. So as you were, living, hearing about diamonds, all that sort of thing, was it always diamonds for you, or as a young girl, like what did you dream of becoming?
Oh, that's a very good question. So, growing up in Belgium, we're a very small country, so we have different professions right next to each other.
Okay.
When I went to school, I was fascinated by my teachers, the way they taught us. I wanted to become a teacher. When I heard a lawyer talk about certain situations and how he described the scenarios, I wanted to become a lawyer. My most favorite one was probably that I saw a documentary about an astronaut and I wanted to become an astronaut so I could touch the stars.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I love that. That fills me with just like, it just gives me this image of just this little girl who just loves knowledge and searching for like information and just like such a innocence to it.
You're right. We have to embrace our environment where we are. If we start to enjoy it and love it, a lot of inspiration can come out of that.
Yes, yes. So you're talking about your family, you're talking a little bit about how you were raised, what this was like for you, some of your dreams. But was there anybody in your early life that you looked up to or admired?
Another really great question. I would say that it would be my dad, who was a huge inspiration. I didn't even realize that he became a role model until pretty much afterwards, but he would always take me into the office and he would describe diamond parcels in a very different and unique way. And he would explain things about jewelry that I had never even considered. And I would just look at the piece and say, okay, it's very shiny, it's brilliant, it's blue, it's red, it's green, it looks good to wear. And that was just my knowledge about what I loved about it. But he would showcase different elements about the facets and he would fascinate me about the manufacturing aspect of it as well. So
Mm.
he described various different elements that I had not thought about, and that made me very curious. And I started enjoying more and more.
Yeah. And it's interesting that you kind of said earlier that teaching was something that was interesting to you, because it sounds like your dad also maybe was like this natural teacher for you.
Absolutely. In a dynamic family, I think everybody was a teacher to the younger ones. They just didn't realize that they would explain different scenarios and situations about logistics of the diamond parcels or the shipments or things of that nature. It's not really something that you would want to hear as a kid, but you had no choice because that was a conversation on the table. So you just closed your mouth and you listened. When you had a question, you asked and you got your response, and then you would move on to the next question and so forth.
Wow. So just really part of your everyday. Um, and so I guess growing up like this, like you said, it's like surrounding you, it's at the dinner table and all that sort of stuff. But was there a point where you said, this is for me, this is the world that I want to get into?
That's actually very interesting because I was never groomed to take over the business or be part of the business.
Okay.
It was pretty much which field that you want to jump into after university, give that a shot, go for
Hmm.
it. As long as you do your work honestly, they didn't really care at home what you did.
Right.
So I actually went into the field of IT and I started selling IT packages for a really great company when I finished my university. And then I realized after a couple of months, I'm selling this product, but they can't use this product after they've utilized the package because the software kind of becomes obsolete. So then we give them the next level that they need, but it's not a forever product. So it didn't intrigue me as much.
Mm.
So my journey came to a halt when I was not able to make sense of what I was doing.
Wow. Well, you know what though? I think that, because as a parent myself and I have certain passions, that would be a little bit hard, I would imagine, for your family in a sense to say, or maybe it wasn't, but just the fact that you didn't have to go down that diamond industry necessarily, that they gave you all the options of the world to explore and discover, just to let you find who you are and what interests you.
You're absolutely right. Just that option, that level of freedom to be able to receive that and not be squashed into a corner to say that this is what you got to do made the world of difference. However, then I decided that, you know what, let me just check out the scene in the family business and see what that's about.
Yes.
So I started working there part-time and then I enjoyed it. Then I was working a little bit more than part-time, and without even realizing it, I think I was working there full-time and I was participating on the dinner table about conversations that I would listen to as a child and say, like, okay, can we stop talking about diamonds? Is there anything else? But that's pretty much how the journey evolved.
Yeah, it feels very organic. Like it really feels like a very organic
It really
journey.
was.
Yeah. So you had mentioned that your father educated you about the wholesale side of it, and it sounded like that
Correct.
was an area he was really into.
Correct.
Um, you've taken it a little bit of a different angle, it seems. So how did you decide maybe that the wholesale side wasn't for you and you decided to do something else? How did that all come to be?
That happened also very organically. One day, a client of ours walked into the office and they asked me for a very peculiar combination of diamond shapes.
Hmm.
And I asked them, what do you want this for? And how many different pieces are you making? And they responded back, I'm making one piece with all of these shapes. And that just got me thinking because up until then, I considered diamond jewelry as the usual necklaces and earrings and pendants that you see. But to make it dramatic and flamboyant was
Hmm.
something that I hadn't yet explored. And when he told me the concept that he wanted to have an envisionment of feathers and fire, I was just intrigued and I thought this is very interesting. So
Ooh,
that's where my journey started after I had that conversation.
wow, that is intriguing. I'm trying to think of what that would look like, feathers and fire.
It was beyond my
Oh,
imagination. Well, we're not allowed to disclose the actual piece, but they did a fantastic job.
oh my goodness. Wow, wow. So design is where your, love, real passion, it seems to be for jewelry. What is the process? How does that even work?
The design process with me, the start of the journey is my absolute favorite because it is your meet and greet with the client. The client tells you a couple of things about themselves and why they want to give this piece. While they're telling me that, I have probably downloaded 15 or 16 design ideas in my head. But by the time they're done, I may present probably two or three of them because that's
Okay.
what they're essentially looking for. Getting to know individuals is probably the best part about this because you're able to bring their idea to life, and that's pretty rewarding for me.
Wow. So that would be really cool. So like you say, getting to know somebody helps you understand how uniquely to make this piece for
Correct.
who they are.
Correct. That's
Yeah,
the most important part.
that's really neat. So you talked about this one piece, this really cool fire, feather and fire piece. Is there a specific piece, like a really special piece that you have made, or one that was maybe the most meaningful to you?
Yes, last year I was approached by Arthritis Society of Canada to create a piece for them. And I thought, yeah, sure, no problem, I can do it. However, once I really looked into what arthritis is, um, I became aware that this is going to be a little bit difficult for me to create because I didn't know how to put that into a solid piece of jewelry that somebody could wear.
Mhm.
So the more I researched and investigated, I found out one of the very tough things that people go through is the pain. But where and how is the pain? A lot of them had described this aspect called melting fire, where the pain just goes everywhere in their body. They can't control how they feel, and they don't have too much medical support to kind of help them get over that. And during this process, it's very difficult for them to open buttons or cut paper with scissors and things of that nature. So I wanted to create something that would help create what I had learned about this. So what I did was I created a pinnacle pear pendant, and what that was is basically there was fire in the center of the pear. However, you could wear this pear-shaped pendant in any which direction, facing up, facing down, facing to the left, facing to the right, and it would look correct all the time. And it was basically based on the aspect that when they're not able to put something on correctly, they have this freedom to choose in how to wear
Wow.
it.
Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful that you're able to create something like that for somebody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
It took
yeah.
a lot of time and research. I had to extend my deadline, but it was definitely a piece that is very dear to my heart.
Wow, it sounds absolutely beautiful and so meaningful. Now, with your business and this type of industry, do you just deal with diamonds, or are you into other gems as well?
The primary focus is actually diamonds and colored diamonds. However, the blues, the greens, the reds, the sapphires, rubies, emeralds, I absolutely adore. The color, the textures that these gemstones represent is unmatched. Just a little while back, I made a couple of pieces and I submitted it to a jewelry competition and I won a couple of awards based on the two pieces that I had submitted. And they
Woo!
were, yes, thank you. They were done up with different colors of sapphires and colored diamonds and even colored gold and white diamonds. And it was just my way of pushing the boundary and trying to do something different. It was received well. I'm very grateful for that. So it showed me that there is so many things and variations that you can do with colored gemstones as well.
Wow. Well, I love emeralds, and my daughter is born in May, so
Oh,
her
fantastic.
birthstone is an emerald. So at some point, I'm looking to create a piece for
It would
her.
be a pleasure.
Thank you so much. So now it sounds like with some of these things that you've taken on, that you are not one to shy away from a challenge. And I guess in this trade, being a woman, has this, I've heard that it's a man's world. I don't know if that's correct or not. What are your thoughts about that? And have you experienced unique challenges because of that, perhaps?
Absolutely. I will say initially when it started out, it was definitely a man's world. And it has been a challenge because sometimes when you're sitting in an office space and you're doing some business, the person sitting across from you, he may not be able to look directly in the eyes to you or something of that nature. So there are so many different aspects of this business where it is predominantly male based, but throughout the years, a lot of women have done exceptional work in our field and they've opened the doors. And it was a personal challenge of mine as well. But to make a position in the market and then create the next level and create a niche in the market has definitely gotten me some respect from my peers in this industry.
Yeah, and congratulations. I mean, you're
Thank
paving
you.
the way. You're really paving the way.
Trying to.
Yes. Well, absolutely you are. Anytime we can see, women can see other women represented in different trades and different positions, it just opens the door to say, I can do that too, right?
You're right.
Yeah.
Absolutely correct.
So let's talk Women Empowerment Awards for a moment. You were nominated for a Women Empowerment Award, so
Correct.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Um, Tell me a little bit about what that experience was like for you, finding out you were nominated.
It was a huge honor because I was in a space similar to other women who were in this field, and to be recognized for something that I have done was a huge pleasure and a huge honor. And I don't take this lightly either. I want to create an example for others around me as well. And it was just amazing.
Yeah. And I remember sitting in that awards like last year watching all these fantastic women speak, and it's what I find so inspiring about it is like the trickle effect. So maybe it's not what's going to happen tomorrow, but it's also again just hearing these women's stories, inspiring others in the room, and then they go off and do greater things as well because of it.
Right.
Does that resonate with you at all?
Absolutely. To be in a space where we are encouraging women around us and also showcasing the hard work that they have done and acknowledging, and a lot of people don't understand that there are a lot of hardships that everyone goes through, men or women,
Yeah.
but we definitely needed this Women Empowerment Award to showcase what can be possible, what is achievable, and what will be happening.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Anita, what's the best part of your job? Like, what is the one thing that you absolutely love the most about it?
Um, Very good question. I love the surprise element of it. When I design a piece, sometimes a customer tells me that this is what they want. And even though they have envisioned it, they haven't seen the actual piece. And the first time that they actually see the physical piece, it just it takes their breath away. And I just love that reaction. Then I know that I have done something correct and I have gone above and beyond their expectations. So that never gets old. I always look for that to make sure I'm on the right track and what I'm doing for somebody is correct.
Yes. And I was thinking too, just as we're talking, that these pieces you create for people, I'm thinking about that piece I love for my daughter, that's like a family heirloom almost. That's something that is so special to that family, or, an engagement ring, like a very something someone's going to wear for the rest of their lives to represent. Like this is a big job that you're tasked with.
Absolutely. It's a huge responsibility. Just because we do this every single day doesn't make it any easier, but it does make us more comfortable. For the person who's coming in to design their piece, for them, it's very meaningful. It has a huge impact in their life, and it could be once in a lifetime that they want to do this or a couple of times, but it's a huge responsibility to make sure that we deliver beyond their expectations.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, I'm going to flip it now for a second and ask
Sure.
you, what's the least favorite part of your job, or maybe the part that you wish someone else could take care of?
Okay, that's also another good question. Well, The least favorite part about this job is actually the back end admin stuff. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not too crazy about it. Logistics of parcels going in and out of the country, flying all over the world. That's not easy to deal with.
Yeah.
Lucky for me, I have a stellar team that helps me out with it. But that is the least favorite part about this, for me at least.
And you said that that magic word team. I think team is so important to really helping any business.
Absolutely. Surround yourself with good quality people, and you're not going to have a stressful day in your life.
Yes. Now, speaking of stress, because you are a business owner and this is something that comes with owning a business, I'm in the world of mental health. And so I'm always curious to know, and I've also owned a business. So I know kind of how this can all affect somebody. But for you, how do you care for yourself? And how do you make sure that your mind and body and everything is balanced?
Very important question. And I give this matter huge importance. We are in a very fast-paced environment, and I feel that every day our journey becomes even faster.
Mhm.
I need to take a moment, whether it's going for walks with the family, enjoying 15 minutes time for a cappuccino. Sometimes, I separate myself from all the iPhones and iPads and all the buzzing computer apparatus. That really helps. Taking time for yourself and enjoying time with friends and family, and looking forward to the Women's Empowerment Gala Awards. That's
Oh,
important too.
yes. Absolutely, it is for sure. Yeah, yeah, you really do. It's like you have to really purposefully take the time. Otherwise, there's so much that can be done between family and work. So when you say, just with purpose, to, take a break from all the electronics and everything like that too. That's something I do, but it's hard. I find that it is hard
It
sometimes.
is hard, but you don't have to do it for 3, 4 hours because that's going to be a very big challenge. But if you just stop or step away from electronics for about 10, 15 minutes, I feel that's enough time sometimes to give you a little bit of a reset when you're going through a challenging position of why is this necklace not looking correct, or what's
Mm.
wrong with these earrings if they're not balanced out correct, or why are the diamonds set differently, or things of that nature. Sometimes just like a change of scenery just for a quick moment will do a world of good.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to take that advice. Just a couple of, 10, 15 minutes, small chunks, baby steps.
Yes, yes, I highly recommend it.
So, speaking of advice, what is one of the best pieces of advice that you've ever received?
If you look to the sky, you can touch the stars.
You look to the sky, you can touch
You
the
can touch the
stars.
stars. That was given to me at a very early age, and it just stuck with me. And it was my motivation for perseverance. Keep on going at it. Sometimes throughout university, in some of my courses, I would struggle. I was always given that push, just keep on going and do your best. And it came up. This motto came up a lot in our family. If you look to the sky, you will touch the stars. So that really
Mhm.
stuck with me.
Yeah, I really like that. It's like you will achieve what you focus on.
Absolutely. You definitely can. You might go through different turns, but if you have a focus in your mind, I think you can definitely achieve it. And
Mhm.
you'll be surprised how many people you will find along the way, a lot of them being women who will just help and support you through this journey as well.
Right. Yeah. You know what that also reminds me of, and it's one I've been saying to my daughter a little bit, is that where you water, it will grow. So, for example, let's say she's focusing on a negative thought or a negative something. Well, if she spends a lot of time focusing on that, then that's what takes over. But if she then like changes her focus and thinks to something positive that happened in the day, then all of a sudden the negative starts to get a little bit smaller. Like she's like, watering the good thoughts and the good things. And then so that starts to grow a little bit more too.
I like that very much. It's true. It's true. We need to hear more of this because sometimes it's easy to get lost in your day and the work just kind of may overtake things in your mind, but it's important to hear this.
Yeah, yeah, I like yours too. That's really neat. So, in terms of other women in your life or other women that you know of, you don't even have to be necessarily in your life, but is there a woman that you look up to and admire?
There are so many. We're actually blessed in our backyard, in our Canadian landscape. We have so many wonderful and spectacular ladies out there who are making a change. We have Marcy Ian, who is the Minister for Women and Gender Equality and Youth. She has done some exceptional work. She has brought very important topics to light. We also have Pamela Cook Ellesmere. I think I'm saying her name incorrectly. Apologies about that. She is a lady in De Beers, Canada, who's actually the principal resource manager, and she has done a lot of work in the diamond mining sector. I believe she has over 30 years plus of experience, and she even camped out in the Northwest Territories at one point when they had the diamond rush in the early 1990s.
Oh, wow.
So really incredible. And we also have our lovely Ira Thompson, who is the CEO of a diamond mining company. She was one of the first ladies to discover the diamond mine in the Northwest Territories. So she helped put Canada on the map. She's no longer the CEO of the company, but she has done immense work in the diamond mining landscape. And
Wow.
especially being a lady who owns the diamond mine, amazing work.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, good for them. Those are quite amazing women. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay, here we are at our last question, if you can believe it.
Time flies.
It flies, I know. And I do ask everybody this question. So, if you could give a young Anita one piece of advice, what would that be?
Never look back. Keep on going forward. And I think that has been my learning lesson as well. Never look back because you're just going to keep on going forward.
Yes, never look back. Yeah, I love that. Keep the momentum going ahead.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful. Anita, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for all of the work you do to pave the way for other women in your industry. And I hope that we can see each other at the Women Empowerment Awards.
You bet, for sure. It was a
Okay.
pleasure.
Have a great day.
Thank you. You as well.